Hello YouTube, it's Chris Eldritch Pipes. So today I was going to do a sort of a discussion on Esoterica tobacco, but I decided it might fit quite well within talking about importing tobacco at all. So our hobby does inspire a kind of obsessive hunter-gatherer outlook, trying to find the best tobacco that there is. And I, for many years, did import tins from the States. I suppose for people in Europe, the interesting guys in the States would have been McClelland, GLPs and C&D, Cornell and Deal tobacco. Unfortunately, McClelland is gone now, which is a real shame because they were my main draw. I really like the Frogmorton series. Frogmorton and the Town was my favourite. And they'd done so many anyway that they were kind of always a brand to mine. You could always find something new. GLPs did one of my favourite blends, which is Westminster, does one of my favourite blends. But I haven't gotten so well with the rest of his. I've tried quite a few and I haven't got on with a lot of them. But Westminster does remain a favourite. Cornell and Deal have done so many blends, it's unreal. So they always have something to draw you in. And I have smoked quite a few of theirs. I don't have a favourite. I've really liked Star of the East. I've really liked, Cajun Cake? It's a really interesting one. And that's probably about it that I can recall that I've loved of C&D. So with McClelland gone, there's not that much of a draw for me to order from the States at the moment. But to be honest, I'd tailed off anyway. So a few years back I might have done one or two orders in a year, but I'd really stopped anyway in the last couple of years. If you're in the UK, if you're in Europe, I would really say we've got so many tobaccos anyway to try. You can try, there's McBaron, they've done lots, there's Samuel Gareth Hogarth, there's Germain's, there's loads to try, And that's kind of was really my lesson. A lot of my favourite ones now are McBaron blends, Germain blends, Gareth Hogarth blends. Don't really see the need to order overseas anymore. Especially as I must give a shout out to Paul Kilminster. He does, with his generosity, supply me with things that I wish I had ordered, like C&D's Lovecraft inspired series. So yeah, there are always things that are going to come out that you're going to want to try. And I'm not saying don't do it, go for it, but there's no need. We have really good quality tobaccos in Europe. We have in England, we're the home of the Lakelands, if you like that style. Of course, that splits the crowd somewhat. the Lakeland style, but hey ho. So, how did I discover Esoterica Tabaciana? If you've been in the pipe community for any length of time, you'll know that Esoterica tobaccos are highly sought after. They're produced in small batches, they're extremely well regarded, and with those two elements, they're nigh impossible to get a hold of. As soon as they're released, a batch is released, it's bought up, snapped up. There's even a serious secondary market on eBay for people who get hold of it and then triple the price, which is, in my view, a terrible practice, but it's life, isn't it? You pay your money and you take your chalk ice, as they say. Or I just said. So, there was an online tobacconist many years ago. Then I don't believe they're still in existence now. I think they were called something like Tobacco Market. There's a European-based one, I think, that has a similar name, something like Tobacco Supermarket. That's not it. They were American-based. I can't remember which state they were based in now. Can't even remember how I came across them. And I'd ordered quite a few things from them, and my eye had fallen across a tin called Penzance a couple of times while I was on the site. And one time I thought, yeah, okay, I'll give that a go. And I bought a tin of Penzance. Got it. I'm not sure what the deal with that online tobacconist was, but my suspicion is that for some reason they must have had their stock for some time. The Penzance that I got was aged. When I opened it, the paper was kind of soaked with the oil from the tobacco. It was really pungent, which kind of has been in a bit stark contrast to some of the fresher Penzance I've smoked. But anyway, had it, smoked it, loved it, forgot about it, until a year later when I went, yeah, there must be, yeah, I'll get some more of that Penzance. And then the woes began. So I really wasn't part of an online, wasn't aware of the pipe community at that time. I had no idea what I'd just fallen into. In a large part, I suppose, I probably discovered pipe communities when I was trying to track down how to get hold of Penzance again. It must have been, I don't know. I just stumbled across a tin and then was hooked forevermore. Certainly on Penzance. That's my unicorn. Although, in a moment, we're going to have a look at Stonehaven. And then in another video, I will look at what tobacco you might want to try if you are a confirmed Penzance addict. But I like Stonehaven as well. But you may have, if you've looked into this at all, so you'll know that Penzance and Stonehaven, produced by Esoterica Tabaciana, is in fact produced by JF Germain. So you think, well, why can't we get it here? I think all kinds of deals and licenses are involved. But it's widely suspected, and I think it's true, that Germain's Rich Dark Flake and Esoterica's Stonehaven are the same product. So, let's have a look. Let's my jar of Stonehaven. So the first thing to know is they're both listed as Virginia Burley blends, although if you look on tobaccoreview.com, one of them is listed, the components are listed as Virginia Burley, and on the other one it's listed as Burley Virginia. But I don't think the order of listing is of any importance. They're both Virginia Burley blends. So let's have a look if I can find a single piece. That is Stonehaven. There's actually 2 flakes squished together there. Maybe I'll separate them out. Maybe that'll be helpful. As you can see, the flakes are very thin and very dark. One of the things that should, one of the characteristics that they both seem to have, I should say, that furthers my suspicion that they're the same, is they both have a tendency for aging really well, of growing sugar crystals on the flakes. Now, this is rich dark flake. Very thin, quite dark. A bit went there. Very thin. That's Stonehaven. That's rich dark flake. There is little, if anything, to choose between them visually. Now, the only real difference here is that this Stonehaven has been jarred for about a year, and this rich dark flake is freshly open packet. So there is a bit of an age difference. It just smells really, it's a really fruity, cakey, deep fruit cake smell from the rich dark flake. And very similar. This one just smells a bit dustier. Very similar. I want to say a slightly farmyard smell. I'm not sure what inspires that connection. I have family that have a farm in Cornwall, and been there many times from childhood, and there's this farmyard smell that's in there somewhere. So they look the same, smell very similar, components are the same. I have loaded up 2 cobs. Because my memory is so bad, I've actually had to label them as well. Rich dark flake in that one. Stonehaven in that one. It is an S. It looks a bit like a J there. So, let's have a quick taste. I'm not going to smoke, obviously, much of these bowls. This is just to give a direct sort of initial comparison in taste and see how they stand up. I love rich dark flake. Such a... The thing about Esoterica blends is that they're not in your face flavours. It's like Penzance. Penzance is not a Latakia bomb, you know, it's not... in fact, it's very subtle. It's very soft blend, Penzance. And the same with rich dark flake. It's just so kind of... You get lost trying to discover it. For me, I experience tobacco through a retrohale mostly. That's the way that I kind of get the enjoyment. That's when I detect it the most clearly, rather than the taste. I mean, the taste is there. But the mystery is in the retrohale. It's just so earthy but mellow. It's like it kind of shares a darkness with dark fired leaf, but without the smokiness. I mean, to me, this is what a Burley blend should be. Just really dark, fruity, earthy, but something vaguely aromatic about it that you can't really pin down. I don't really want to stop smoking this one now. Now, of course, if you're in the States, getting hold of rich dark flake will be as hard as getting hold of Stonehaven, I imagine. That's so mentally different to I was just smoking another Burley blend yesterday and last night. Solani's aged Burley. I'm going to do a review for that tomorrow. Or maybe later today, I don't know. But it's not a patch on this. Okay, stop smoking this one. Stop smoking this one now. Alright, So that was Rich Dark Flake. Very, very nice. This is Stonehaven. They're the same. Yeah. The same little, very slightly, I don't want to say tangy, but there's just a hint of sourness when it comes in on the tongue. Earthy, dark, a bit musty. Something vaguely aromatic. Like a I don't know what. Just the sweetness, I guess. But really, the muted sweetness. All in the name of science. The same. Okay, they're the same. Both lovely. Both really good. Blimey, look at how long I've kept you. So, without a shadow of a doubt, I suspected they were the same. But I've never done a side-by-side comparison. And admittedly, although it wasn't quite apples for apples, in that the Stonehaven was a bit aged and the RDF is fresh, still. It's undeniable. Undeniable. Okay. I'm going to carry on and smoke these. So, stick with tobaccos. I would say do full investigation of European tobaccos first. That would, and find your favourite blends there. You won't get stuck with any tax bills. So, okay. So the next time we're going to try and do something with Penzance and my possible recommendation for that. Till then, sweet smokes, and I'll see you guys soon. Ta-da.